Hello, my name is Jaren, and on behalf of Bubble Team, I would like to share our experience with our software engineering project, how it evolved over the semester. We worked with the partner company Simulence, taking over the repository from teams before. The problem Simulence solves is the following. Small companies and indie devs often do not have the resources or the need to hire a large playtesting company to conduct game testing for them. Simulence's research has shown that the player testing is still a laborious process. Simulence's aim, therefore, is to provide a platform for these developers to playtest their games on a smaller scale. We developed features on a web application that facilitates this solution. The application is geared towards three main user types: playtesters, developers, and admins. Simulence outlines that the platform will be a subscription service offered by the company. Through this service, playtesters will use Simulence to find games to playtest that match their demographic and interests. And developers will use Simulence to find playtesters to play their games, collect feedback, and view analytics. The admin will be the Simulence team. They will manage users, templates, surveys, and projects. In the context of our group's contributions specifically, we took over the survey system development, statically implemented by teams previous that looked like this. We gave this feature functionality, a UI makeover, and connected it to other parts of the site. In relation to our users, playtesters will be able to complete surveys that developers create and assign to playtesters, while the admins will be able to create survey templates for developers to use. Since we took over this project from previous teams, I will be visiting some pages in the demo that were not implemented by us, but you will be able to tell which ones were by the presence of a sidebar as shown here. I'll now give you a demo of the short demo of the main functionality of the project. Now, admins are able to create survey templates that developers can use as a starting point for their surveys. Let's go into the Templates tab, and we can add a new survey. Here, we can give the template a name and description. We can also add tags, which will help developers categorize these templates and pick one that suits their needs best. I'm just going to add 3. There are 5 question types, and I'll demo a couple of them. Let's add a multiple choice question, give it a title, and maybe some details. Option 1, and let's add a second option. We also have the feature to add images to supplement the text that we have. Say we want an art piece. Let's add another question, a linear scale. Maybe this one's a rating from bad to good, but we want good to be a 7 on the rating. Now we can preview to make sure that is what we want and see how it will look like for developers. Once we're happy, we can publish this. Now, the template is available for use as a developer. So I'm going to sign in as a dev to show you that now. As a developer, you can see all of your projects here on the dashboard. You can add a survey to a project by viewing its details and navigating to the Analysis tab. You can create a survey here, either from scratch or using a template. Here I'm going to use a template since we made one as an admin just now. You can select it, you can change its name, maybe make it something closer to the project, add tags or the description if necessary, and we can edit the questions. Let's say we want to add this to maybe a 10. We can preview to see how it would look like for our testers. And again, once we're happy with it, we can add it to the project. Once the survey is added to the project, we can see it here on the Analysis tab. The survey that we just added has not yet been released to testers, but in the future, the dev should be able to edit these surveys before publishing. Now, if we publish, this releases the survey to all testers assigned to the project. In the future, the results will provide some kind of analysis for the survey responses. Now we can log in as a tester to see and fill out the survey. We can use the dashboard to navigate into project surveys. This is the project we were just working on. As you can see, the tester account was already assigned to it. We can click and complete this survey. We fill out the questions and submit. That is the end of our demo. Now, in terms of the architecture and tech stack for the project, we use a simple structure split into the front end and back end API. The front end uses the Bootstrap View framework, which incorporates HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, whereas the back end uses Firebase for its Cloud Fire Storage database, storage, authentication, and deployment features. Here's a quick example of a back-end function, create template, and this is how it's integrated into the front-end code. Since our code has been passed around a few teams beforehand, we chose not to use any linters or interfaces. Linters would have required us to pretty much redo the entire project and change already implemented features to align all of the styles, which is outside of the scope and timeframe. While there are some inconsistencies due to this from past teams' work, we've done our best to stick to certain conventions. A couple shown here being coding styles, we use camel case, clean coding with commenting, meaningful names, and keeping it simple, and good documentation. We added to our documentation with the creation of ER diagrams to maximize our code being understandable after our team's stint with the project. Here's a brief look at our ER diagram for front-end component workflow. And while I won't go too deep into the technicalities, we can see here all of the front-end flows. For example, the flows here out of the navbar component. Additionally, we made an effort to separate features and their code. For example, keeping relevant view files in folders with relevant components and descriptive names for better organization. We've set up both manual and automatic testing for the project. The automatic deployment was just set up and uses GitHub with the Firebase CLI. The screenshot on the right is a snippet of the complete deployment instructions from the project repository, where anyone working on the application will have access to, available at all times for the partner to see. To access the application, there are two websites where the project is currently deployed, linked to the main branch and QA branch respectively. For handoff, first we included more documentation on everything we could think of that our partner needs to know, and we merged our classroom repo with the existing Simulence repo. Simulence already has access to all of the backend functionality of Firebase and database through Firestore. And there are detailed notes on how to access this and the rest of the project in the README. Now, there are a couple of things that we would change if we could do this project again with the knowledge that we now have. The first thing would be familiarizing ourselves with the existing code to a greater extent. Initially, the backend development struggled a lot since they didn't understand the code or how Firebase worked. We needed to better understand the basics of technology we were working with before diving in. We could also communicate with our partner on future goals instead of being task-driven to make future development more seamless and to waste less time rewriting old code to be compatible. A third thing is specific goals for team meetings. So everyone knows what to prep and what to come out of the meeting with, so there's clear direction and objective. Workshops for Git and maybe Vue would have been helpful at the beginning of the project. We had a teammate that was very well versed in Git, for example, and was willing to give some of her time to put a small workshop on for us to help us better understand, but unfortunately it never materialized. Having upfront and honest conversations on each team member's capabilities would have avoided extensive team shuffling deep into the project and made the overall process smoother. Overall, the lack of familiarity with the code and everyone's capabilities hindered being able to effectively communicate with partners, as well as within our own team meetings, but we improved drastically as the term progressed. We want to finish by thanking Sam Nove for being such a great communicative partner and David for facilitating this amazing experience for us in CSC301. We have been Bubble Team, and thank you for listening.